nice day. Before I start to discuss what is our topic today, I would like to introduce first myself. So my name is Joanna Ragunton from BEd 1D. I hope that you will listen carefully and you will learn from our topic. So let's start. What is the title of our topic for today? The title of our topic for today is all about transfers of learnings. And before I start to discuss what is all about transfers of learning, I would like to introduce first what is our pre-discussion and what to expect for today. Our pre-discussion is number 1. What is the meaning of transfers of learnings? Number 2. What are the different types and theories of transfers of learnings? And number 3. How transfers of learnings effective in teachings? That is our 3 pre-discussion for today. And what is our to expect for today? We need to recall the background of transfers of learnings. Number 2, outline details about the information and ideas of the 3 topics and appreciate the importance and goal of transfers of learning in education. So, that is our pre-discussion and what to expect for today. So after I introduce to you what is the pre-discussion and what to expect for today, and now I would like to discuss to you what is all about transfers of learnings. So what is transfers of learnings? The transfers of learning is in a situation where the learning knowledge are used either in a learning another information, knowledge and skills or attitudes in a new situation at another time or in the real life situation. It is a real that the situation in which we learned is identically to the situation in which we apply and use that learnings. Education is preparation of life. Whatever we learning in the school, we are expected to apply that same in life. So, the transfers of learning is the meaning that says that your learnings inside the school can also be applied in the real life situation. For example, the arithmetic in the classroom and apply it while shopping. Your learnings about arithmetic can also be applied while you are shopping. So, your learnings inside the school can also be applied in the real life situation. That is the meaning of transfers of learning. So after you know what is the meaning of transfers of learning, now we will proceed to the types of transfers of learning. We have two types of transfers learning, which is the positive and negative. So first, what is the positive transfers of learnings? The positive transfers of learning, it is the learning one can help another kind of learning or when used in a life experience. For example, your knowledge in geography can also be used in biography, or your skills or knowledge in mathematics can also be used in business. So, the knowledge and the principles in psychology are used in caring and bringing up children, understand and managing the students' behavior in school or in classroom. So, your learnings about the different skills about your learnings in the classroom can also be used in the real life experience. So, that is the positive transfers of learning. So, also remember that in positive transfers of learning, we have also the two types here, which is the vertical and lateral. So, what is first types of positive transfers of learning? The first is the lateral. So what is lateral? So the lateral is your learning of one kind facilities learning of the same level in other situation or in another context. In school, it occurs when a learning of one subject helps in learning another subject. Some concepts, procedures, principles, and facts are applied in a more than one subject of the and lateral transfers occurs when the experience in solving problem in a one situation can be applied in solving problems. So knowledge in various skills and attitudes are taught at school, but our application at home, and many things are learning at home, and they can help children to learn well at school. For example, cleaning your room at home and cleaning this class at school, or writing the letter at school, or writing letters writing letters at school can be applied to writing a various types: official letters, for example, official letters, friends letters, or innovation letters, or the student personal letters. So sometimes in the lateral transfers of learning, it is your learning mostly in home that you could apply also in the school. So at this lateral transfers of learning, sometimes mostly of our learnings is we learn it from first at home, and then it could be apply also class in the classroom. So it is similarities, or your learnings how to solve the problem in the similarities situation. That is the lateral transfers of learning. So let's proceed to the second types of positive transfers of learning. So what is the second types of positive transfers of learning? So it is the vertical transfer. So what is the vertical transfers? The vertical transfers is the learning of the lower helps in a learning at the higher level. It also includes the knowledge acquired during the childhood applied during the adulthood. And a student should be, for example, is a student should be probably master the principles in addition before moving into the multiplication, because multiplication is an extension of addition. So the vertical transfers is your learning from the first level can also be applied in the higher level. Or for example, your learning from elementary is can be also applied in the senior high school or in the high school. And your learning from the high school or senior high school can also be applied in the college. And your learning from the college can also be applied in your real life situation or real life experience, for you are doing your job or applying your job, and then you have your own business. Your different learnings from first level until you have your own business, or you have your own you have your successful future, can also be applied. So your learnings started from the first level before we proceed to the higher level, or your learnings from childhood can also be applied in the adulthood. So that is the um, vertical transfers, the second types of positive transfer. So now we will proceed to the second types of transfers of learning. So it is the negative. So what is the negative transfers of learning? It occurs when one kind of learning abstract another kind. It is the retroactive innovation, which is present the learning abstracts in the previous learning. And proactive innovation, it is the previous learning abstract the present learning. And for example of this is learning one language. For example, French language. It may confuse pronouncing of English. Word previous learned it may be that they are spelled at the same but with different pronunciation. O- and it may causes the meaning or the use of the previous language to be forgotten due to the learning of the new language, or vice versa. Not For that example, sometimes your learnings can be also forgotten, and um, sometimes it causes that your knowledge from previous can also be forgotten when it comes to be used in the present, or sometimes your present learnings can also be forgotten when it can be used in the previous topic or discussion. So after we discuss what is the types of transfers of learning, now we will proceed to the five theories of transfers of learning. The first theories of transfers learning is a mental theory. So what is the mental theories? The mental theories is the learning in the training is a mental process. Basic in the transfers of learning is understanding of classical knowledge, which includes the a study of logic, grammar, science, and mathematics. This means that if you acquire knowledge and the understanding in this field, you can be able to understand better the knowledge in other field. For example, if you learn well logic, you can use logic skills in solving math problems. Or understand of a logic can also be promoted through learning of grammar. So it means if you learn well, or if you understand well what is what is how to solve mathematics, how to easily know what is all about logic, or what is doing about logic, and also in the how to manipulate, or how to the processing of the doing in the grammar. You are good in grammar. It means that you are good in a grammar, or you understand how what is all about logic, science, and mathematics. It means that it could be easily for you to do the different field, or it could be same the mental. You have your mental skills that could be easily to understand the different field or the different situation by this understanding of grammar, logic, science, and so on. So that is the mental process, acquiring the understanding from this um, knowledge or skills that you have could also be applied in the other situation. And the next is the second theory of transfers of learning is the theory of identification elements. So what is the theories of identification elements? It is the transfers of learning acquires when the person carries from one situation elements that are identical with the second situation where knowledge is to be transferred, and they are the elements that are identical that a person carries in another situation. These identical elements includes procedures, concept, action, facts, attitudes, principle of teachings. For example, is this that a student has learned geometry in schools. Measuring angles or sides of a features also apply in actual work of carpentry or machinery. So it is the theory of identification transfers of learning is it is your learnings and that carries in the another situation, or it is your learnings inside in the first situation can also be applied to solve the second situation, or so that the theory of identification elements, it is the carrying of one situation into the another situation. That is the identification elements and the second types of transfers. Now we will proceed to the fourth theories of transfers of learning. So what is the fourth theories of transfers of learning? It is the Gestalt theory. So what is the Gestalt theory? Gestalt theory, it is the transfers of learning acquires when a person is able to understand the information or idea is a meaningfulness and application to the daily life during the time of learnings or when experiencing something. This depends on the learning's ability to understand the meaning of the idea or knowledge in a one situation and understand its application in other situations. For example, in school, you learn how to prepare a manure in a biology. You understand that you are going to do or you are going to use it in your agricultural activity. So, gestal theory, it is the ability to understand the meaning or the idea of a knowledge in a one situation that could be also apply or understand its application into the another situation. So that is the gestal theory. So now we will proceed to the lastly but not the least of the theory, the the theories of transfers of learnings. So what is this? This is the apperception theory. So what is the apperception theory? It is this theory focuses on the linking knowledge previous and the new for effective net transfers of learnings. This implies that the teachers to assimilate new information and they already acquire knowledge. Using active learnings strategies for students will make a transfers of knowledge effective. This process of understanding something perceived in terms of previous experience. For example, a perception is how your mind puts new information in a context. For example, there is Julia. It is a perception. But Julia is my friend is an a perception because it based on the past experience. So a perception theory, it is the process of understanding something that perceived in terms of the previous experience of your previous experience. That is focuses on linking knowledge in the previous and new for effective transfers of learnings. That is the apperception theories. So after we already know what is the types and the theories of transfers of learning, now we will proceed to the condition of a transfers of learning in the condition of a transfers of learning. So the condition of a transfers of learning, it is the similarity transfers of a learning requires similarity of knowledge or skills in the two kinds of a learning or in a two situation. Situation where learning is to be applied. The first is the procedure, the required procedure. Second, the principle to be applied in a problem to be solved. That is the condition of a transfers of learning. And then, what the teacher should do in the transfers of learning. It is the helps the student to see the similarities in the two kinds of learning. Is using the same knowledge or skills in a different situation. Number 2, show the different where the same types of a knowledge, skills, concept of a principles can be applied. And number 3, use advanced organize to see the relationship. And number 4, give the specific instruction on how to use the knowledge or skills gained in one situation to another situation. That is the teachers should need to do in the transfers of learning. Help the student to see the similarities of the different situation and show the different where the same types of knowledge can be used. And then use the advanced organize to see the relationship between the first situation and the second situation. And then give them a give instruction that could be specifically know how to be use the different situation or in the one or similarity situation. That is the what should the teacher should do in the transfers of learnings. So the second is what is the transfers of learnings in education? The transfers of learning in education, it is the general refers to the influence of a learning in one situation on learning in another situation. It it concerned on how learning is a certain school subject effective subsequent learning in the same or another subject or how the school learning's influence. That is the transfers of learning in education. It is a generalizedly refers to the influencing of a learning in a one situation to the another situation. And the lastly is, what is the importance of the transfers of learnings? The importance of a transfers of learning, it transfers of learnings are one of the most ideas in the teachings and learning. As a teachers, you want your student to learn to make effective futures use of what you are teaching. So the importance of a transfers of learning is to become a more idealistic and knowledgeable um, um, learnings. And where we talked all about the transfers of learning, now we have a summary of transfers of learning. So the summary of our topic for today is transfers of learning occurs when a people apply information, strategies, and skills they have learned to the new situation or context. Transfers is not a discrete activity but is rather an integral part of the learnings of process. It is your strategies and skills could be applied in the one situation to the another situation with have a um, integral or have a better learnings. And transfers improve when the learners abstract the profound principles underlying information being learning and they abstractions associated by a change to be experienced concept and the principles. And in the school in the school, students study a topic until reaching some level of mastery and then they move on to the next topic. A student in transfers of learning must be generalized, have a desire to solve a new problems to move tomorrow new situation and ultimately task risk. Transfers of learnings are one of the most important ideas in teaching and learnings. Every student can be benefit by a learning in a manner that in a man that that support integrating their new knowledge and skills into their current knowledge skills. Clarity and the coherence are the most efficient as helping learning of attain core knowledge, but after accomplishing some level of knowledge, it may be served the learnings betterly, less on instructions and more on his or her own mental efforts to make sense and refine the knowledge into the form useful for future use. It is our summary for today that as a student in the transfers of learning or as a student, you must need to have generalizedly what is your topic all about because it is usable in the or useful in the future